got to pick a block of song. What do you think, huh? So my head is spinning from all these wonderful speeches I've heard and the inspiration from the young people, because I'm obviously the elder tonight. I'm going to own it because age doesn't matter, right? So thank you to 425 Magazine and to all of you for being here, and to all of my fellow women to watch. It has been such an honor actually to meet you guys and learn about you. And I just think the youth and what you've accomplished in this short period of time, I can't imagine where you'll be when you're my age. So, I mean, who am I? You heard a little bit. Why should you care, right? I mean, it's all about identity. We talk about it. How do we define ourselves? How do you define me? How do you see me, right? And so I need my clicker. So growing up, I wanted to be a nun. I went to private Catholic school. I wanted to be a nun. That or a drummer in a rock band. All right, I failed. So there are things I can't do for sure. But I did have an incredible journey so far. And let me just show you. The Mona that you know probably in public, this is the Mona you know. In magazines, in China, in Vogue, all sorts of things. Maybe you don't know that Mona, but that was me. These are the types of people that you might see me with Bradley Cooper, my boyfriend. No, I'm kidding. A whole host of people through the years of my career, Madeleine Albright, who I love, Meryl Streep, right? It was such an honor to live my life. But this is how I started. The middle child, the only daughter of an immigrant family from China. When I went to college, it was the first time I read a newspaper from front to back for the first time, because I was always told never to question authority, never ask questions. So I went to UC Berkeley, and that's where I read the paper, and I fell in love with journalism. Just absolutely, the curiosity, the opportunity to be okay asking questions. So I graduated from Berkeley and went to Northwestern Medill School of Journalism. First job, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Holstein cows, snow, cheese, what more could you want? It was so amazing to get my first job, but that's the first time I met racism. And unfortunately, the story goes a little downhill from here. So it would be eating pizza and having people come up and say, "What are you doing? Where are your chopsticks?" It would be going out to cover a story on Desert Storm to get reaction and having the gentleman say, "You're Mona Lee from Channel 13? You sure don't look like Mona Lee from Channel 13. Well, guess you can't help being Oriental now, can you? It was walking down the hallway in my apartment on a Friday when I was tired after work when the elderly woman stopped in her tracks and just stared at me. And I said, "Hi, can I help you?" And she said, "I would never let the likes of anyone like you help me. You're un-American. Go back to your country." I was 25. I unlocked the door. She was right in front of my apartment. I got in. I locked the door. I didn't come out that entire weekend because I was so rattled and so scared. So thank you, King TV, for hiring me from Green Bay and brought me to Seattle. It was a relief because I was contemplating, well, I shouldn't actually, I kind of jumped the story here because I don't have my notes. I talked about the racism, but this is actually the part the sexual harassment too started. And I wrote an editorial about it. You can look it up. It was the doctor who gave me my physical. It was finding out that the entire newsroom had a bet on who would sleep with the new reporter, Mona, first. So thank you, King TV. I came out to King. I was ready to, hang it up because it was so challenging and so alone in Green Bay with no friends when I moved there. So I came out to King TV, and then I met my husband, Gary Locke, my first husband, I should say, Gary Locke, because we have that husband confusion thing too. And there's many that probably don't know it, but you'll hear this story. So Gary ran for governor, and as you heard, I was first lady, and he was governor for 8 years, which was amazing. Then he went on and was appointed by President Obama to be U.S. Secretary of Commerce. So our entire family moved out to DC. And then he was appointed to be US ambassador to China. So our family moved out to China. And it was a wonderful experience. We sadly got divorced after 20 years of marriage. And it was the toughest decision, but the right decision. And we have 3 wonderful children, and I'm happy to say we're still friends because it was such a big part of your life, right? 20 years. So I'm thankful for that. So then I came back, moved back from China here with my 3 kids. And it was my opportunity to really start my identity, my new career. And so I got into communications. I was a communications executive, went on a trip international for 10 days, and that's when the harassment started. So one of the executives said, "Come down to my room, let's work on the speech." And I said, "Okay." Came down the room, knocked on the door. He opened it wearing only his pajama bottoms. And I said, "Well, I'm sorry, I'll let you get dressed and I'll come back." And he said, "No, if you want to complete the speech, you get in my room now." Okay. The harassment continued 10 days, grabbing my legs, rubbing my thighs. It wouldn't stop, and I put up with it. And sometimes now I think about it, and I haven't talked publicly about this, so sometimes I think about it and I say, why? Why do we put up with it? I was traveling internationally. I needed this job. I needed the identity, and I needed the money. And quite frankly, I was shocked that anyone would do this. So I came back. And the first day I walked into work, I started having anxiety attacks. So I went to HR, the head of HR, who was a woman, and she did nothing. So then I consulted with an attorney, and he said, "Don't do anything. And no matter what, don't talk to HR." Well, that was a little late, because it's a he said, she said, and you will get buried. You will never win on this one. And I thought to myself, how could I be someone who's been in the public eye, and yet I'm being silenced to protect myself? It made no sense. And that's when I started speaking out about harassment. I wrote a Facebook post, and it got picked up by the Seattle Times. And then actually I was interviewed by King TV.
Taking action. It's something the former First Lady of Washington did in October of 2016. That's when Mona Locke turned to social media to share a powerful essay detailing her own personal experience with sexual harassment during her career as a TV news reporter and in the political arena as well.
I have been in the situation where there were other guys and they just turned a blind eye. Okay, not my best look there, but they called me on a day I was working and I was busy. So aside from that, what got me through it all? I mean, really what got me through it all was the relationships, the friendships that I had. And I have to say that I had some of my best girlfriends basically said they couldn't be there for me when I got divorced. And that was almost harder because those relationships meant so much to me than the divorce itself, right? So I did invite a table of my good friends today because I wanted to thank you for being there for me. It has been such a tough road. Anxiety, depression, divorce, sexual assault, racism. I mean, you know when you say we all hit those highs, we all hit those lows, what I found is it's in your relationships. That's what matters. It's in the joy, finding joy in the journey. And through it all, I've been pretty down for many years. But then I found this saying that my kids laugh about. Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. And I thought it was so perfect for Seattle. And I actually, I actually have this sitting in my kitchen to remind me each and every day when things don't go well, that you know what? You find joy in your journey, and you find those little things, and you rely on your friends and the people that mean the most. And to all of you out there, if you have friends that you think may need help, may need a phone call, please call them. Please be there for them like my friends have been. I had 3 concussions in the last 3 months. It's been a little rough. But I have my friends who've been driving me to events because I had promised to do events. I actually drove myself here. It was good. It was the third time I've driven, so I'm very proud of myself. But, you know, I had a good friend at the time when I was in the, this is like, you don't see this because I was so public, right? Most of you don't know this, and many of you didn't even know I was divorced from Gary because it's just been rough. But I had a friend of mine when I was going through it all ask me, what makes you happy? And at the time I was still married. I said, well, I don't know, my husband, my kids. And he said, no, what makes you happy? And I couldn't answer because my whole life was for my kids and my family. So, happy to say I'm remarried, and I've got extended family here. We're like the Brady Bunch, 3 boys, 3 girls, a wonderful husband. But I think what makes me happy now, not just the family, but really feeling comfortable in my own skin, feeling okay to make mistakes. You know what? The grace to say, I'm okay. And I can try something new, and I'm okay if I fail, because I'm going to get back up, and I'm going to keep trying, because that's life. And we go through that. So I am embracing new things and new challenges. And as I said, I remarried 4 years ago, by the way, and it's been wonderful, and congratulations. We remarried older people, I'm telling you. But you heard I actually signed with a talent agent, and now I'm trying acting and commercial work. You know what? Am I scared? Heck yeah. Am I going to fail? I don't know. But what else is there? I mean, unless we go out there and try and reinvent ourselves and try new things and fail, we're not going to grow, right? We have one life, and the joy is in the journey, and it's all about trying new things, growing as a person, and enjoying your life and helping others while you're at it, right? So my parting thought to you is, what makes you happy? I hope that each and every one of you will take a moment, especially when times are not the best, to ask yourselves that question and find a path forward. Like I said, I rely on learning how to dance in the rain. And I hope that you cherish your relationships as much as I cherish mine. That times when they're needed, you rethink your life. That you're willing to reinvent yourself. And really that you learn to dance in the rain. Because that's what it's all about. And I wish you joy in your journey and the freedom to truly be yourself. Thank you.